Today we will begin the story Universal Language by David Silver. Chapter 1, Hello World. Cindy drove down the highway at a fair clip, just around the speed limit, as she could confirm as a sign sped past. Her sunglasses were on, shielding her eyes from the sun that was still climbing into the sky. In the passenger seat was an assortment of things she needed to take with her for the trip. Clothes, personal computer, chargers, and most importantly, her art supplies. The radio was playing a strange tune. It wasn't human in origin. They all knew that. It was hauntingly beautiful, but just as undecipherable. She was fairly sure there were words in there, but in a melodic song like that, words were bent and warped even in English, let alone whatever language that was. It was the song of aliens, sent countless light years, an enigma wrapped in a puzzle. She blinked away thoughts of what she could never understand. Ahead, on the left side of the highway, the forest parted at the edge of the road, creating a view that made her car feel small and insignificant. She smiled despite it. "I am an ant," she reminded herself as she turned off smoothly into the park the forest created. "And I'm all right with that. Sure, the aliens had come. They may smash everything, or just be coming to say hello. She had already decided she was all right either way. Be a friendly ant." She pulled up to the booth where a person greeted her after pulling down the window on their side. "Welcome to Jellyfish State Park, ma'am," he said, smiling in his brown ranger uniform. "Just passing through, or do you need a sight?" She fished out her pass and offered it up. "I know the usual routine. I won't feed the bears, and I'll only leave footprints." She winked at him for good measure. He chuckled. "That's right. Have a nice day, ma'am." The ranger waved her through before returning to the booth. She continued along the dirt road for another minute or so before parking next to the camping grounds. Climbing out of her car, she made sure she had all her things. Let's greet the evening. She felt sure and safe with herself. It was a shame not all of humanity felt the same way. My cherished community. Robert clasped his hands together with a gentle smile, folded at the front of his priestly attire. These are new times, changing times. With change comes confusion, but you will always find comfort and community here. Soft noises rose as others agreed. Whether the station comes from the devil himself or something perhaps far worse, we will stand strong, and together. The church audience clapped with solidarity with shouts of Robert's name. Some have asked, what if they come in peace? To that I ask, what manner of peace can this be? We will ask them of their relationship to God. We will pray to Him and ask His counsel. If they are all heathens, that, he took a slow breath, that would be worrying. Soft, hushed gasps spread through the crowd. But this is our world. Robert thumped his podium with an open hand, making some jump in their seats. This land is filled with the Holy Spirits of God, with His power coursing through our very veins. He opened his arms. How could a more powerful entity want to come between us? He leaned forward towards the crowd. We won't let them. He held up a hand. As we say to Satan, we deny ye not one step on our sacred world. This is a land of God's children. The crowd roared with appreciation for his words, finding purpose in them and comfort. Twilight sat back on her haunches with a smile. Confirmation. Celestia perked her ears. What are you confirming, dear student? Twilight looked over her shoulder. Princess, one of the worlds we broadcasted to has received our message and has for moons. All scans place the odds of compatible life at 75%. That's one of the highest readings we've had. She stood up on 4 legs, her hooves clapping the ground rhythmically as she bounced with excitement. I'm sending a ship down to scout the world for possible first contact. Celestia trotted forward with a smile on her face, spreading her wings halfway out. That sounds wonderful, Twilight, but isn't it dangerous? Twilight shook her head. Most likely, we'll find the bare starts of life. We'll scan the world first, from orbit. She waved up at the hovering image of that lonely, distant planet. Only if we detect advanced life will we attempt more direct contact. If it's still incubating, we'll leave it well alone. Celestia nodded gently, turning her attention back to the viewport as it zoomed out. I trust your judgment, my faithful student. Applejack turned a hoof against the control. She could hear it clicking and beeping, every little movement causing things to react. We are coming out of hyperspace, she announced to the others in the small ship. Buckle in if you ain't already. There were soft clicks and quiet whooshing noises as her companions did so. It was a short journey. On the screen ahead, space folded apart again. Applejack steered her ship through as if the whole were a ring hanging in the sky, waiting to be passed through. It was only an instant, traveling so quickly they slipped right through into regular space. A strange sensation rippled through them, still present despite their technology. Ahead was their destination, a lush green world, beautiful to behold. All right, every pony, here we are. Her eyes turned to the gauges, blinking softly. Strange. Pinkie Pie was strapped in close behind her with wide eyes and a smiling maw. What's strange, Captain? Applejack scrunched her muzzle in thought. Almost 85%. She inclined her head. Even higher than head engineer Starlight done thought. She reached for a new button to smash it. Let's get scanning. That'll tell us if we're actually landing or if we're just heading right home. Pinkie pouted at the idea. I hope not. I want to meet aliens. Imagine the crazy parties they throw. Applejack cocked a brow at that. Pinkie, they're aliens. What parties they prefer ain't the first thing I'd want to be asking 'em. Pinkie unbuckled herself, floating free of her chair. And that's why they sent more than just you, silly. We need different views. Applejack watched Pinkie float back away into the rest of the ship. Rainbow Dash's voice came up to her from a small speaker on her console. All set down here, Cap. Everything is locked and loaded. She clicked her hooves on the controls a couple times. Yeah, all the same up here. We're good to go. Send it out. Roger. Rainbow pressed a button on her end, ejecting a small orb at high speeds towards the planet below them. Here we come. He pressed rapidly at the keyboard. Sir. He inclined his head at the console he was fixed on. We have a high-speed object coming from orbit. The commanding officer leaned in to have a view of the tiny dot. That's too small to be anything. It could be a mistake. Put in a call for where it should land, send local forces to check it out. Maybe it's a lucky meteor. Not our problem. On it. The soldier grabbed a phone to loyally make that call. Cindy drew in slow motions, eyeing the horizon as she went, adjusting to ensure everything lined up with what she could see around her. She worked a pencil across the page, taking care not to press down too hard. In the distance, a large blue lake rested, waves lapping against its shores. She smiled as she labored. I love this place. In her peripheral vision, she could make out someone moving, approaching her on the wooden path, but she wasn't going to be distracted, nor deterred from the task at hand. Her art was more important at that moment, at least until it clicked audibly. She jumped in surprise and turned to face it far in the sky above her, clicking rapidly like a camera working in fast forward. There, a football-sized thing hovered, emitting an odd noise besides the clicking that almost sounded like wind chimes being hit by a gust. You're joking. She dropped the pencil she had been holding, gaping at what hovered over her. You're joking. Her words seemed to capture its attention, and it was looking at her, directing its clicking camera at her. Her heart pounded in her chest. It descended slowly, stopping some 15 feet away, the clicking winding down. From the bottom of it, a long needle protruded. She staggered back as it approached, drawing its sharp tip towards her. It stopped in midair, then swapped ends and pointed down instead. It twirled in place, then rapidly withdrew into the strange object. Hello? Cindy dared try taking an unsure step. I come in peace? She felt silly saying it. The strange object was the one coming, and was it peaceful? She had no idea. Please don't evaporate me. She couldn't know, but the probe was sampling and scanning busily. It sampled all the air she emitted and the noises she made. It made a full catalog of what it thought was important to know about a possible life form, then zipped off to scan a squirrel, finding it just as fascinating, and thus continued doing the same to everything it could find on the ground. When it got to a bird, however, it was quite a rude awakening for the creature. It was far heavier and faster than most of the others, and it attacked the strange probe instead of tolerating its presence. Cindy squeaked and tried waving the angry bird off. Was it a falcon or an eagle? She didn't have time to check. Shoo, shoo, you'll start an interplanetary war or something. Go eat a rabbit. It squawked at her angrily, which she returned with equal defiance. The machine hovered there, taking note of the exchange and filing it away, before zipping off again, this time to the lake. Cindy slumped back with a heavy sigh. Okay. She sank to the ground heavily. Come to Jellyfish, see the friendly aliens. Almost start a war while you're at it. She laughed tensely at her own humor. Christ. Distantly, she heard an engine rumbling and glanced up to the road, seeing a car heading away from the campground. She chuckled once to herself as the car disappeared from sight. Rainbow whistled over the comm system. Probe has returned. Aw, yeah, that was quick. She flopped back in her chair. Hey, Cap, you might want to come take a look at this. Applejack pushed herself out of the seat and kicked off the floor to the back of the ship. Floating through the lack of gravity, she propelled off of every surface that came close to her, accelerating until she drew close enough to warrant slowing down much the same way. What are you seeing? Rainbow pushed her hoof into the hologram on the desk. First of all, this is just a composite. This is all the scans. Her eyes narrowed. Is that what I think it is? Applejack settled in front of the projected image, standing at the ready to give her orders. Well, shoot. She cleared her throat. Computer? A soft chime played. Can you play the video? Right here? She pointed. Nothing happened. Ah, swear, Danthin can't understand me none. Rainbow snickered at Applejack's trouble, reaching with wings and hooves to deftly control the panel. I'll get it. The alien noises played, and they could see the strange being waving wildly at the probe. Well, think they saw us, Cap. Applejack leaned in, trying to hear what she could, but most of what she was able to pick out was what sounded like nonsense to her. She frowned. Computer, can you translate the audio? A negative buzz played. Rainbow snorted. Automatically? We're advanced. We aren't that advanced, AJ. You really should know what you're flying, Cap. She poked AJ with a wry smirk. Get that AV over to Fluttershy. She may make heads or tails of it. Her eyes darted back to the image of the alien speaking strange words and making such odd motions. But we did find our aliens. Guess saying hi will be coming soon. That was Chapter 1 of Universal Language. Thank you for listening. If you didn't already, do like and subscribe so you'll know when Chapter 2 comes along. I will read every comment, promise, so do start a conversation below.